Hello. Hello in YouTube land, TV land. Hello. It is I, the Oracle of Whimsy. And you are so many beautiful people because let's face facts. The people that watch this channel really are the most wonderful, the most sexy, the most special. It's just you and me alone here in this quaint little brunch with maybe a couple hundred other people. Just ignore them. Talk to me. How is everyone? How is everyone? I'm just getting set up. I'm going to be with you in just a sec. Looks like people are floating in. They are floating into our beautiful brunch. All the gorgeous, wonderful people that decide to join us. I say you're gorgeous and I should know. Somebody argued with me. I am 83 and I am not sexy. Are you so sure? Are you so sure you're not sexy? Search your soul, go into your core and ask yourself, gosh darn it, deep inside my core, in a place that people might not know or see, is there a little sexy vixen waiting to come out? You may be surprised. Anyway, it's great to see you all. It is great to see you on this glorious Sunday as I get myself ready, as I prepare to entertain the masses. Yes, anyway, great to see everyone. I'm being very silly today. I am a whimsy. Now, I have rejected my karma for a very long time, but I've changed. I've changed, people. And I now accept my karma that I am a whimsy. I was born a whimsy. It's on my birth certificate. Yes, it is. It's on my birth certificate. My mother named me Whimsy after Lord Peter Whimsy. Thank you very much. So I must accept my karma. We must all accept our karma. Whenever I try to be serious, whenever I try to take life too seriously, it just doesn't work because I'm a whimsy. So part of being happy in life is that we must love ourselves and we must accept ourselves. So anyway, that's what's going on with me. Oh, can you all see this? This is my beautiful plaque. It looks rather lovely, doesn't it? Anyway, great to see everyone. Let's go ahead and give a shout out to everybody who has decided to join us today. The beautiful Sue Malik is in the house. Sia Mir K, thank you for your memberships. Memberships are much appreciated. If you could like and subscribe and share the stream, it's a great way for us to build our community, as they say. Intuitive Kathy, thank you so much for your membership. It keeps me honest and it keeps me off the streets. So thank you. Joel Tilson, much blessings to you. Wow, 82 degrees in Cheyenne, Wyoming. For those people who do not know Joel Tilson, give a round of applause. He is an amazing human being and he comes here of his own volition. I don't force him. I haven't blackmailed his family. No, he comes here because he's a nice guy and he is our official floor director. As many of you know, I am blind as a bat and he keeps me focused. I'm convinced I have ADD. I'm afraid to go get tested because I know it'll happen, but he keeps me focused and he keeps the show flowing. He is our official floor director. We give a round of applause to the amazing Joel Tilson. And it looks like Sterling was on earlier today. I missed Sterling. I got up late. ETs destroying stuff. Yeah, that's actually something that the government is now coming out and officially saying. Now, wrap your head around that. Let's wrap our heads around that, okay? That disclosure happened and the world did not fall apart, right? People just said, okay. Lou, what's his last name? He used to work for the government agency associated with the Pentagon aerial threats. They're officially saying that yes, the ETs, the biological, non-human biologicals are messing with our nukes, shutting down nukes, etc. So it's officially come out. Hopefully they're friendly. Lou Legazia, what is his name? Did you guys all see him? I got blocked trying to show you guys because the Daily Show, I was using Daily Show footage, so I had to remove the Daily Show footage of his interview in his book. But yeah, and they spoke under oath. We are living in strange times. And I think that what happened regarding that is that our science got to a point where, and our cameras got to a point where we were able to finally get into their cloaking. We were able to see past the cloaking. I was one of those people that was, you people are crazy. There's no ETs. You don't, like it's us. It's our stuff. And sometimes it is our stuff, but sometimes it's their stuff. And what Lou Legazio, or whatever his name is, said is that basically they live in caves deep under the earth. And that's pretty much, it could be that they are offshoots of hominids that did not go extinct. And in order to evade predation, they went deeper and deeper into the caves. And instead of focusing on war, they focused on cloaking. And then the cloaking and the science became more and more advanced until eventually, and then eventually our science got to a point where we were able to start detecting them. And so the question is, are they from another planet? Or are they time travelers? Are they us in the future? I think it's a bunch of different groups, but one is probably time travelers, because eventually, if the science, physicists say we will conquer time travel by going through interdimensional time travel. We will be able to achieve that. And so if we're going to achieve that in 1,000 years or 10,000 years, there's no reason we wouldn't go back to early Earth and clean up some damage, right? So definitely some evidence that some of what we're seeing is our future selves, and some evidence that part of what we're seeing is other species of hominids that survived in caves, living off swamp water, which sounds terrible, but swamp water is filled with fungi, which have vitamin D and protein, basically living off of protein and greens, which would explain why they keep stealing our strawberries, right? Some reports that people have had of ETs stealing their fruit, right? Loaded with antioxidants. Makes sense also if you're doing research or flying around in spaceships being exposed to high amounts of radiation, you'd be wanting to gobble up massive amounts of things that help reduce free radicals, or what we call ORACs, oxygen reactive absorption capacity, free radical absorption capacity. Something's ability to absorb free radicals is an ORAC. That's one of the reasons I recommend protein and greens, because it has a high ORAC value. It can absorb a lot of free radicals. That's why I recommend taking it, particularly before you fly. So that could be the big mystery of why they keep stealing foods high in beta carotenes, like orange fruit. Now somebody just told me that a bunch of orange fruit went missing. So it could just be what they want is these high concentrated antioxidants. But this is real. People are not freaking out about it. They're actually, and I don't know why people are not freaking out about it. It's like, okay, we got non-humans flying around in spaceships that are entering in and out of different dimensions. Some could be time travelers. Some appear to be friendly, like children were playing with a downed ship. A ship crashed. The aliens came out and played with the kids for a little bit, and while they repaired their ship and then flew away. Kids had no fear of them because they were children. So there have been positive contacts, but there have also been some scary ones, like people that have gotten too close to certain underwater areas, and they've been shot, they've been hit, killed by things. They've been, I think, a helicopter was shot down in Italy by what appears to be a non-human biological. So we're just more than one species, and most are friendly. If they were going to wipe us out, they probably would have wiped us out by now. So that's really interesting what Joel is saying, that yeah, they had a ballistic missile. They were working on trying to send a nuclear weapon. It was supposed to be a ballistic missile that was going to have nuclear nukes in it. This was a test flight. The last one they had done, it was in 2022. It did not have nukes on it, but it did contain about 15,000, what was it, 15,000 liters or tons or something of fuel. Anyway, so it created a mushroom cloud explosion. And it's very close to we're seeing a withdrawal of troops from Ukraine because, and people are openly calling for Putin to resign because he has bankrupted the Russian economy. Thank you for mentioning that, and thank you for mentioning Sterling's channel. He produces some good stuff. I should check him out. L'chaim, l'chaim, skull, cheers. Whatever language you want me to say it in. I cured my acid reflux. It's completely gone by adding a little bit of baking soda to my coffee and a teaspoon of grain chicory coffee to my regular coffee. So if you do those things, that's and if you stick to a low acid diet, you should be able to reduce much of your symptoms. So which one did I use that's alkaline, that can cut the acid? I've been asked if I could share how I lowered acid without going on. You don't need to go on a bunch of drugs. Getting addicted to a bunch of expensive drugs that have come with side effects. Do we really need to do that? So this is the Roma Cafe, and I just put a teaspoon of that. You can do like a 50-50 ground coffee, and then sometimes it will clog the thing. So I just put it in the bottom because it doesn't need to go on the top. Just put it in the bottom. So when the water drips down, it mixes with it. But you could, and it creates a very delicious, smooth, alkaline cup of coffee. So I'll do 1 to 2 teaspoons of this with 1/8 of a teaspoon of baking soda, and then whatever gourmet coffee I like. And the good news is it also means that your gourmet coffee lasts twice as long. It's very affordable. As you can see, $9.39 for a very, very a rounded teaspoon. So you're talking about 100 servings for $9.39. So that's pretty decent. Vitacost or Amazon Prime, depending upon how you get your coffee. So where you order your stuff. But I have found that this instant beverage, its ingredients are grain, no caffeine, chicory, and rye. And it just makes a great cup of chicory coffee. And if you enjoy chicory coffee as I do, it's a great way of cutting your caffeine and getting rid of acid reflux without having to go on any kind of medication. The other thing that people had asked if I could elaborate a little bit more on, in addition to that, what non-pharmaceuticals we use for GERD. Of course, you want to lie on your left side with GERD. Gastroesophageal reflux disease or acid reflux, we want you to lie on your left side when you're sleeping with pillows propped up. Abdominal cores and strengthening your abdominal core can also be helpful. And you can get yourself some slippery elm bark chews and deglycerized licorice, DGL chews also. Both of those you can consume after or even before your meal to reduce the problem. So here is a DGL that I often will recommend. I don't take a profit or anything. These are things I've prescribed in my office when I was a physician, seeing people I'm still a physician. But if you come to see me, these are some of the things I would recommend. So DGL, deglycerized licorice root extract, protects the lining in the intestinal wall. It has a nice taste. Not everybody likes licorice, so you could do a capsule, but these are the chews. I personally like the chews, but there are other options. You could do a DGL Plus from Pure, and I think this is actually, Pure is a great company. It's one of the companies that I recommend quite a bit as a physician. It is triple tested. This one, the DGL Pure Plus, I recommend because it contains other things that I will sometimes put in people's medicinal teas. Instead of giving people drugs, I give herbal I give herbal teas or herbal medicines. Marshmallow root is something that I use quite a bit. Aloe vera extract and slippery elm bark. So this is another nice thing if you're finding that just a little baking soda isn't doing the trick. Remember, hiatal hernia and a weakened abdominal core can be also a factor. Remember to remove foods or reduce foods that are associated with acid reflux, like the hot and spicy foods. Fatty foods can trigger acid reflux, like fried foods. If you're eating lean foods, if you're on calorie restriction or trying not to eat after a certain amount of time, say 3 hours prior to bed, all of that stuff is going to naturally reduce your risk of acid reflux without the need of going on pharmaceuticals. Okay, so let's talk about the remote views. The first thing I want to do before we do the remote views is to thank Wendy Burt. Wendy Burt sent me a present in the mail. I have no idea what it is. It came in 2 boxes, so I thought it would be fun if we opened the present together. I can't show you her address, but thank you, Wendy Burt. She created something, and I'm rather curious about what it was because we have some brilliant artists here that visit our channel. So you guys like presents? You guys love getting presents as much as I do? I love presents. So thank you, Wendy. Oh my goodness. This looks like it is it's this. Okay. It's this. Let's see what that is connected to. All right. So then we got a big box here from Wendy. Wow, Wendy. Such generous people that watch the show. And guys send me some beautiful stuff. Oh. Trying to come up with a creative way to open this. Hopefully you're all okay. Any of you wind up in the middle of the hurricane? Oh my goodness, there's a lot of tape. Just open it already. Did you guys used to open your presents slowly on Christmas and Hanukkah? Or did you just tear them open? Or did you have families that were so frugal they would make you open it very slowly so they could use the package again? My sister Bambi was good at that. She would open things very slowly, and we would look at her like, how can you control yourself? Control is so difficult. Oh my goodness. Wendy, this is Fort Knox. Whoops. Oh my goodness. I'm excited. I'm opening it upside down. I hope that's okay. Just wanted to get the, okay. All right, we're doing something here. Oh my goodness. Is this what I think it is? Oh, it's a hat. It's a hat. Oh, marshmallow unbranded. It is a, oh, look at this. And American Maker's hat. Thank you so much. I love hats. Oh my God. I love hats. Thank you. Well, now I've got a Halloween hat. I opened it the wrong way. American Hat Makers. So did you make this hat? Did she? I think she made the hat. She designed this hat. Interesting. So I guess, so do people get the basics and then they, thank you, Wendy, for the note. Oh my God. All right, darlings. You know, Wendy, you've captured my personality perfectly. You have captured my personality perfectly. Look at Mila. And the herbs, look at that. Look. Oh. There you go, look. Birds. Oh my God, look. You know who that is? That's Shylock. Oh, there's my duster. The moon, my psychic phenomenon. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Wendy, I love it. I absolutely love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Wendy Burt. I think I now have, I was not sure about the Halloween costume. So let's take a look. Oh. Oh, yes. Thank you for all your comfort and guidance. I think this is a little bit private, so I'll read this privately, but thank you so much, sweetheart. Yes, you have captured me. This is me. This is the real Oracle of Whimsy. And I love it. And there's a few outfits. It's going to go great with my my black Rachel Maddow jacket. I have a Rachel Maddow jacket I always wear. Thank you so much. All right, before we get started, we're going to be here a little long today because we have a lot to go through. I wanted to give a shout out to the amazing Judy Ann Jamerson. Judy Ann Jamerson, she is the author of Belle. Belle, she is our Book of the Month Club. We'll be interviewing her on October 1st. October 1st, Taco Tuesday at 6 p.m. For those of you who would like to join us, if you have not gotten a copy of the book yet, you can get it at Eckhart Press. It's an amazing book, and stuff happens to people. You know, this book has really shooken me up. It's so easy for us to be cruel. It's so easy for us to be mean to people when they are at their lowest point on the streets, drug addiction, alcoholism. People, traumatized people re-traumatized. The poor wind up in prison, drug addicted, people of color. They fall through the cracks. And we, as a just, compassionate society, kind of need to wake up to a lot of stuff. So this book, Belle, addresses all of that, and the horror and beauty of what it is to be human, the human experience. So Judy Ann Jamerson will be in our studio at 6 p.m. Taco Tuesday, October 1st. I hope you can join us. Okay, I've gotten through all of that. I'd also like to mention that we have a fundraiser today. For those people who don't know about that, we do raise money. If any part of today's show is entertaining to you, then please think about donating to our fundraiser. We are raising money for homeless pets. And specifically, I wanted to focus on senior dogs. Many people, they'll love a dog when it's a puppy, but then when it gets to have medical problems, the dog is often abandoned. A lot of the times because the owners are seniors themselves and they don't have the financial wherewithal to care for an aging pet. So for that reason, if you can throw a couple bucks to Forever Home, the old friends nonprofit. We've already raised $947 in our fundraiser. It would be great if people would be able to donate to that. Okay, so we're going to do everything, but I want to talk a little bit about the remote view and some of the feedback I have gotten on the remote views and the psychic feedback. Where did my tissue go? I'm always losing things. Oh, there it is. Good. Yeah, senior dogs are sweet. I wanted to talk about the war with China and what is going on with the fentanyl war. Now, people sometimes, I know it can get a little confusing because fentanyl is coming in from Mexico. So somebody had mentioned that they didn't understand why I was blaming China when it was coming in from Mexico. And the reason we talk about it being an opioid war with China is because fentanyl is coming in it is coming in from Mexico through the southern border. This is true. But the precursor, looks like I lost my stream. Am I back again? Okay, good. But the precursor chemicals are coming actually. You can go to unclassified fentanyl flow to the United States. This is the DEA report and how it's produced. And you can see here is the China flag. But basically, there are labs in China that make the chemical that is used to make fentanyl. And here is a flow chart of that. And you can see that number one is the precursors. And then number two It can be sent to Canada, where it can be processed, or it can be sent number two. The other thing is number, let's see, or it can be sent directly to the United States for, I guess that's for use in hospitals, etc. But you also have Mexico here, and that's where it's sold to the cartel. And so we have it's unregistered pill presses, stamps, and dyes are shipped via mail services. The powder fentanyl is processed and mixed with heroin, sold as heroin, or pressed into pills and sold in the Canadian drug market. The powder fentanyl is processed and mixed with heroin and sold as heroin or pressed pills in the United States. Number 4, it's cut and diluted, further smuggling or pressed into counterfeit prescription pills. Here in South America. 5, precursor manufacturing is shipped via mail services. So that would also be China. And 6, precursors clandestinely manufactures fentanyl. Again, this is in Central America. 7, precursors are likely smuggled across the southwest border into Mexico. So again, you can just go ahead and take a look at this. And now we have more problems where India is also starting to make these precursors. So what we're looking at is a type of war that's similar to biological warfare. We're dealing with something that is similar to biological warfare. And so for that reason, we have to think about what is the country trying to accomplish that's declared war on us? What are the consequences of this war? And we have to acknowledge that we are, in fact, at war with China. We are at war with China, and China is killing a lot of our citizens in this war. Approximately 70,000 US citizens die every year due to this war that has been declared by China. So China has done a lot to weaken the United States. So when we think about what is the goal of a war, the goal of the war is to weaken your enemy, collapse the country. And we're talking about many ways in which the United States is being collapsed. One way is through the war with fentanyl, but also we're seeing huge problems in terms of just the economy, the fact that our land use, we're seeing a misuse of U.S. lands, right? Because they're being used to grow animal feed, which is very hard on the environment, to grow animals that are exported to China. And some of the animal production companies, I think Smithfield is now owned by China, buying up real estate, the centralization of land and real estate with investments from foreign governments. All this puts pressure on the United States. Of course, people not paying their taxes and having business relationships with China, which benefit and help create billionaires and trillionaires, but again, puts tremendous burden on the United States. And here is more information if you want to look at the CDC report and the war coming out on China. Yes, we did see people dying from fentanyl under Trump, and we can see this spike coming up and a little bit of a dip here before 2020, where we had approximately 30,000 deaths. But we can see we are doubling the number of deaths of males. And again, these are people that are the same age as those people that would be joining the US military. So in a way, we're kind of not just destroying the United States with this type of warfare, but specifically those people that would join the military. So we have a couple things working against the United States: millionaires and billionaires and trillionaires that are making money off of their relationship with China and not paying their taxes, but also the fact that we are being attacked by this type of warfare that's similar to biological warfare, warfare, the opioid wars. It's their version of an opioid war. And what I had said was not that we didn't have a problem under Trump, but you can see under Biden, it has more than doubled from what it was under Trump. And that's not because Biden is doing something wrong. It's because the tensions between China and the United States have escalated quite a bit between 2020 and 2024. It breaks off, but in 2024, we had about 70,000 deaths, so more than double what we had under Trump. And again, not because Trump was doing anything right, but because he was bought and sold by China, and this type of warfare hadn't really escalated at that time. So the question becomes, what is America going to do when we're being hit from all fronts? We're being attacked from all fronts. We are dealing with, we are at war with China. And this is, we are also still reeling from COVID, which was brought to us by China. And we're also dealing with problems with global warming, inflation, and problems with the price of groceries, again, because trade has been impacted. All of these things are weakening the United States. The fact that the power is no longer with the people, or it doesn't feel like the power is with the people. The power is with these millionaires and trillionaires who have been bought and sold by hostile foreign governments that are hostile to the United States. And so there is if this trend were to continue, we would see the collapse of the United States. The United States would be left destitute. So again, if we're talking about what is making America destitute, it's number one, the economic disparity, right? People are not paying taxes, and they're stealing money. They're taking money out of the United States. And so this is creating a deficit. And the other is that we're losing our democracy because of lobbying and bribes that have happened at every level, whether it's in Congress or in our courts, Congress and our courts. And then in terms of the centralization of housing, centralized housing, and ownership. So you have these large companies, some of which have business with China, that are now beginning to buy up land and property, which is controlling the prices, inflating the prices. And so what are we looking at here? What are we looking at here? What does this bring to mind? Can you guys think of another time in history where we saw all of this stuff happening? Has this happened before? Yes, it happened in Victorian England, the Dark Ages, right? We had the Middle Ages, but a good example in the industrial age would be Victorian England, right? Victorian Britain, we should say, because Northern Ireland was hit the hardest if you're talking about the potato famine, anywhere where the British were, right? So you had a suppression of the people. You had people paying 90% of their income was going towards their rents. Women were forced to go out and prostitute themselves to the, anybody and everybody, usually the aristocrats. This is the time of, what was it? Jack the Ripper, right? So the ladies of the evening were often married women with kids that were just trying to get some food on the table, right? So check out Hidden Lives Revealed. And what we see when we look at, we see a population increase, right? We have how many millions of homes currently? We not enough homes, population increase, growth of the cities. Yes, people are moving to the cities. Uh, Unemployment issues because people's wages are depressed. Child labor. Yes, we're starting to see problems with child labor, human trafficking, housing shortage, definitely slum housing and overcrowding, poor sanitary conditions. Yes, we're starting to see people losing their health care, having no health care. Destitution, homelessness is on the rise, crime is on the rise in certain ways. People who say crime is down, no, actually not when it comes to drug addiction. Crimes associated with drug addiction is way up because drug addicts need money. And so this is why we're seeing stores getting closed down because of the problem with petty crime. If you go to a Safeway here in downtown Portland, you'll see 3, 4 security guards. And all of this is a rehashing of Victorian England all over again. And what we're seeing are the same images. At that time, what was the drug of choice? Lanolin, opium, right? The opium addiction, the opium children, poppy eaters, the kids that were on poppy and gin. Kids drinking gin. And so what we saw alcoholism, drug addiction, opium addiction, everything that we're seeing right now, which brings us to the next question. How did we fix it? Did we fix it? Well, we brought in public health. People learned to wash their hands, right? So we started seeing huge changes in terms of education about public health. There was a war, the Opium War. China didn't want there's. We tried to weaken China, right, by pushing opium. It was actually China that was bombarded by an opium problem, and they dealt with it by killing their drug dealers. They brutally, they had a brutal war on the drug dealers where they literally took them out and shot them. They killed the drug dealers. And so we're seeing this time around, it's us being attacked with the opium. And the other thing I would say is we saw the rise of socialism. We saw the rise of socialism, the Bolsheviks revolution in Russia, when 90% of the people could not afford bread. We also saw the Communist Manifesto get published, right? So it is inevitable that we will see revolution in the United States, whether or not it's going to be a soft and gentle revolution or whether it's going to be something more brutal. I would like to believe that it's a gentle revolution where people are simply acknowledging the problem, are in touch with reality about how we got here, and we begin to hold our leaders accountable. If the people in power in the United States are themselves compromised, if our Supreme Court is compromised, then what is more powerful? The businessman, the foreign government, or our Constitution? Only one can win, them or us. And so it's when we talk about whether or not the Constitution is on the rocks, democracy is on the rocks. My question to you is, given the current situation, have we already lost the war? How did we come out of the horrors of the Victorian era? The opium eaters, the children dying of lanolin and going blind from bad, cheap gin. What was done to fix it? Well, social programs were created and new taxation. We're going to lose Downton Abbey. Oh, we're going to lose Downton Abbey, and we're such good people. And having random people in charge of other people because they were happened to be lucky enough to be born in an aristocratic family. It just makes so much sense, right? So Downton Abbey is a Tory TV show where nothing bad ever happens to poor, vulnerable people who are illiterate, right? And the people in power are just so benign. And there are no hunting parties, right? Hunting parties where the poor were hunted. Native Americans were hunted in Canada, right? You got a 5 minute, you got a, you got 5 minutes to run before the aristocrats get on their horses and start to hunt you. This is real history. Oh, we've got to quell the heads. There's too many bloody Indigenous people in Canada. We've got to quell the heads. Have at it. And so they would have hunting parties, and or they would just beat them to death. Now they're doing they're looking at the bodies of all the children that were murdered in these homes in Canada. But prostitutes being taken to mansions and got a heads up after they had their way with him or her. They would give them a head start of 5 to 10 minutes and then hunt them and shoot them because human beings had no value. Human beings had no value. My question to my fellow Americans is, what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and Mr. Don 45, right? Have we fallen into this kind of acceptance as we slide back into the horrors of Victorian Britain? The jungle, losing our unions, right? This is one of the things that happened that changed the trajectory quite a bit and gave the power back to the people was unions. Unions for coal workers, unions for people that were in jobs that were high risk, meat factories, etc. And so when you have Smithfield and you have these foreign governments that have very different ideas about human rights coming in and taking control of mass meat production, it's not only a horrible burden on the whole planet, but our country, but terrible mistreatment of our fellow citizens. So that is the conversation that I wanted to have. Can we save ourselves? Or are we going to be weakened by disease and poverty as we slide into the horrors of the Victorian era all over again, where 90% of our wages are going to rent and the food prices are so high, we're lucky if we can get a slice of bread, which was what was going on with the Bolsheviks revolution. 90% of the people were serfs. They were owned. They were property. Reminds me of Lindsey Graham ordering people from Smithfield to get back to work, even though there was real evidence that they were being infected by infected animals. Well, of course they were being infected by infected animals. It's absolutely absurd to think that they weren't getting infected by infected animals, because swine flu passes from swine to humans, from birds to swine, from swine to humans, and sometimes from bird to humans. So of course, people in the factories where they were processing meat were getting infected, and they were passing bets about which worker was going to die first. And then you had people like Lindsey Graham ordering those slaves back to work. This is like a retelling of the jungle. And so all we can do is have it starts with a conversation, right? It starts with a conversation. And deport Elon back to South Africa. I think that he and everybody else that's taking their money outside the United States and coming up with clever ways to steal money from the American people, because when you don't pay your taxes, You're stealing from the American people. When you gaslight us and tell us that social programs, that our money going to help us is somehow evil, it's our money. I pay a lot in taxes because I'm a sole proprietor, which is the highest tax, and I'm a doctor. So I'm in the highest tax group, right? I want my money to go to social programs. I want my money to go towards drug rehabilitation and prison reform and educating and protecting vulnerable people. That's what I want my money to go to. I don't want my money going to give tax breaks to spoiled brats. It's my money. I worked for that money, and that's what I want to do with my money. So don't gaslight me and tell me I'm a horrible person because I believe in democratic socialism, and I'm a strong supporter of democratic socialism, and I think it's the only thing that's going to save our country. All right, so we're going to go ahead on that happy note. We'll continue to have this conversation over the coming months as we move towards the election. You all know my politics. I'm a registered Democrat, and I'm voting blue no matter who. I could have a further conversation about why I think you should do the same thing. But that's what's going on in this neck of the woods. All right, so without further ado, we're going to do the empath prayer, and then I would like to give you all a reading. Would you all like to have a reading? Good to see you all. We're going to stay late today because I knew that I had a long remote to give you guys, and yeah. Thank you, Robinson Lockman, for donating $20 to Old Friends Senior Dogs in Need. It's much, much grateful. Thank you to all of you who have decided to donate to our fundraiser today. All right, and we will be doing blitzes after that, but let's go ahead and let's do the empath prayer. If you know the prayer, please join me. If there's somebody that you care about that you feel needs a healing at this time, please give us the name of that person. We would love to pray for them. Or if you yourself need a healing at this time, please go ahead and let us know who you are. And we can include you in our prayers today. So anything else I need to announce? Why do I feel like I'm forgetting something? We mentioned the book and that Judy Jamerson would be in our studios on October 1st. It's a powerful book, you know. It's gotten me thinking a lot about my own. It's gotten me thinking a lot about my own cruelty. To be honest with that, you know, I've become too jaded. And I need to get my heart back. Right? If we're going to save our country, we've got to get our heart back. Maybe start donating some time at the animal shelters or working with vulnerable adults. We all have to love each other and help each other and move away from classism. We're all just people living a human experience. No, you know, nobody's better than anybody else. Again, I just can't stress enough. This is a really, given everything that we're talking about, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about it. This descent into this Victorian mindset, cruelty, judgment, etc. It comes up a lot in the book Bell. How people heal from trauma, and how we can all be a little kinder to each other. Again, Judy Jamerson, Bell, in our studio, October 1st, 6 p.m. You won't want to miss it. Okay, for those of you wanting healing at this time, prayers, Dr. Ian David Madison. He's has a rare form of cancer. We send healing to him. Prayers to everyone who's been affected by the storm, Helene, and anyone else who is asking for healing. Please give us give us your names, and you will be included in the prayers. Okay. If you know the prayer, please join me. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, as a community, we say, Amen. May all souls be healed. May all souls be loved. May all souls be healed. May all souls receive a perfect healing. Amen. Okay, let's take a look. I thought we changed it to the 7th, but Chuck got his book. Is that okay, Judy, or do you want it to be the 7th? Either way is fine. Would you rather have it be the 7th? It's up to you. We were on the fence. It was up, but Chuck got the book. He's reading the book. But if you want to wait another week, we can wait another week. We will let Judy decide if it's going to be on the 1st or the 7th. All right, this is your reading for the week. And this reading applies to you at the time you watch this video. All right, where you are at right now at this time, you are about your business child. You are about your business child. So the base of the matter is the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is a busy bee. A person who is about their business does not have time for gossip. A person who is about their business does not have time to be in other people's business because caring for ourselves is a full-time job. Caring for ourselves is a full-time job. So what do we mean when we talk about caring for ourselves and being about our business? Say you write a list of all the positive things that you need to do to heal your life today. Starting with the basics, reducing your stress levels. How many of you make a concerted effort to reduce your stress levels? Did you get 8 hours of sleep last night? Have you worked at the quality of your sleep? Are you suffering from sciatica or some other pains? Do you need to change your mattress? Sometimes the most obvious thing is to get a good mattress. When we think about the basics of being about our business, we think about our physical health. lowering our stress levels, stresses upon the body, the kind of stuff you're taking in on a daily basis. I watch way too many YouTube videos. I know I got a problem. So if we are about our business, we don't have time for other things. We don't have time for nonsense. We don't have time to be wondering what this person is up to and did this person do this or that. It's always our focus. Our focus is our first self-care. Number one, are you resting and reducing your stress? Number two, what does your diet look like? Did you have a protein and greens this morning for breakfast? Did you take your supplements that you need to take, your omega-3s? So there's two things. Reduce your stress with meditation and proper sleep. Take the supplements that you need to take, fish oil, or a vegan option, vitamin D, the supplements that you need. Are you exercising enough? As we get older, it gets to be, I don't want to, right? At least a 20, 30-minute walk a day. What does your home look like? Is it spotless? Can you eat off the floor? Is it organized? How much time do you spend organizing and cleaning your home? Now we're going to move on to your finances. How are you doing financially? Do you know exactly how much money goes out every day and how much comes in? Energy in the form of money. Money is energy. You work, you engage in energy, and that's your action, and the reaction is money comes to you, and then the money goes out. Are you in control of your energy in the form of money? Do you have a balanced budget? Are you about your business? Now let's take a look at your physical appearance. Did you brush your hair today? Did you floss? Did you scrape your tongue? Did you shower? At least wash your face and hands, right? Did you put on a little makeup? I think my makeup's a little too dark today. I think I might go a little lighter next time. All of these things take time. They take the person who is well cared for. Do you know? Have you learned how to properly care for yourself? All of that takes time. What is your relationship to spirit? However you see spirit, a higher power, how you connect with something greater than yourself. So the base card is the Hierophant, which is how you look towards God or spirit, your internal belief systems about the world, and your business. Think about all those things that go into what Joel calls self-maintenance. A list of those things which are good deeds. And did you give yourself an account and a reckoning? We've talked about this over and over and over again, speaking of Victorians. Do you have a journal? Men and women used to keep journals, and we've stopped doing that to some extent. Do you give yourself an account and a reckoning? You have a list of the good deeds that keep your life organized, and then go through them every day. Did I sleep 8 hours? Did I meditate and reduce stress? Did I get in a walk today and do my core strengthening? Did I balance my budget? Did I have a green smoothie? Did I clean my home? Did I watch what came out of my mouth and what came in? Did I watch what I wanted to watch a spooky movie last night, and I was thinking, is this good for me? I ended up, I don't want to watch a spooky movie. I get bored. I go back to YouTube. I like those near-death experiences where people see the future, and then I want to see what future they see. That's my latest thing. But all of that takes time. But if you want to get yourself organized, get yourself an account and a reckoning. Where you're at right now is the star is over you. So you're getting it. You're getting it. What is the purpose of life? What is the purpose of life if you're a good Kabbalist? Shana Tova to you too. Nine mode. Purpose of life if you're a good Jewish person, l'chaim, right? If you're a good Kabbalist, a good mystic, the purpose is tikkun olam, or to create heaven on earth. So ask yourself, does my world look like heaven? This is a very deep concept in Kabbalah and in Judaism. Mitzvah gadola liot v'simcha. It is a great deed. One of the best things you can do is to be happy. Happy in a balanced and spiritual way, not through hedonism and exploitation, but to truly create a place where when people come to your home, they say, wow, this is heaven. I don't want to leave. Beautiful, healthy, nutritious food, beautiful, calm, and peaceful, enjoyable activities. People come to you and they experience a slice of heaven. That is the purpose of life from a Jewish perspective. Now, not everyone likes Jewish heaven, because it also says in the Talmud that this heaven on earth will just be sitting around reading all day long. If you love to read, you're going to love Jewish heaven, because the people just learn and learn and learn and learn and learn. And I love the Torah. I love the Mishnah too. I love Gemara. You should love your fellow Jew. I love to learn. You know, this is the songs we sing to our kids, right? This idea of creating heaven and loving life, because life is about joy and happiness and creating heaven on earth. In Hebrew, it's called tikkun olam, or to fix the world. And it's this idea that we incarnate into the world as co-creators with Hashem, that Hashem creates, gives us the paintbrushes, and he gives us the canvas, and he gives us instruction, the 7 Noahide laws, and the mitzvot, if you're Jewish, we have the instructions, the golden rules. We know what we need to do: take care of Gaia, take care of each other, plant trees, love each other, take care of each other, and go out and have some fun and create heaven on earth. And when you have completed this tikkun olam, there are other mystical writings in Kabbalah, if you look at the Ari, that we will do it again, that many worlds will be created. So we are co-creators with Hashem, with God, to create heaven on earth. And then you invite others into it. So get into the business of creating heaven on earth, and then share that heaven with others. That is your purpose in the world. If you're born a whimsy, then you have to do it in a whimsical sort of a way, right? You have to accept your fate, that you're a whimsy, right? Don't fight your fate if you're a whimsy, right? Whoever you are, embrace who you are, and embrace your version of heaven on earth. But the star is over you, and so you have good stars. And what's crossing you is a time of scholarship and learning. I'm reading about 3 books right now. I'm reading Bell. I'm also reading the book by Matthew Wood on shamanism. That's my night book. I read about shamanism and fairies and all the cool stuff that Matthew Wood teaches, and herbs and the mysticism of the plant kingdom. But so now is the time to enjoy your learning process. Many of you are going into a time of becoming philosophers, and that's kind of nice. I've been seeing philosophers a lot. You will be successful. You've got an Ace of Swords in your 4th house. As long as you are practicing good mysticism, as long as you are practicing the golden rule, and you don't have time to be miserable or gossip. You're too busy creating heaven on earth. Tikkun olam. Be about your business, child. Why are you over there worrying about this person and the other? Get back to creating heaven on earth. You got a lot of work ahead of you. Ace of Swords means victory. It stands in the fourth house. It means positive things are coming to you over the next year. I read swords as years. Victory. Also, it's a laurel wreath, and you can see the tears are shaped as a yud, which is the 10th letter in Hebrew. And the yud is associated with, it has a mystical significance that has to do with spiritual completion, but it also, the tears that come from struggling to create, as we create good things in our world. So you get that nice laurel wreath. You cried, you worked so hard to be a doctor. I'm not going to make it. They're going to kick me out of medical school because they hate me. I'm not going to be a doctor. Right? I've been there. And then they hood you. They put this beautiful thing, you are a doctor, and then you cry, I got the laurel wreath. So within 1 year, set goals for yourself that are positive. We're pulling your cards right now, happy-go-lucky. So as we go into this year and you're setting these high goals for yourself, like I want to be a great violinist within a year. I practice about 30 minutes a day. I need to increase it. I practice every day, but that's not good enough. I'm not advancing as fast as I could. I get frustrated and I put it down after 30 minutes. If I could get closer to an hour, it'd be great. On days when I'm slow at the office, 2.5 hours, right? Practice makes perfect. But Ace of Swords is moving into fourth position, which means victory in your life, victory going forward in the next year. If you keep yourself focused, you've pulled 2 aces. You've also got an Ace of Wands sitting in your third house. So what you marinate or sit in is you've got that get up and go. You're revitalized. My passions are back. I'm going to make it happen. Gonna build a mountain, gonna build it high. You know that song? Don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I know I'm gonna do it someday. Gonna build a mountain, gonna build it high. Gonna build a mountain, gonna build it high. Don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I know I'm gonna do it someday. Right? Ace of Wands. So I feel this fire in you. You can do anything you want to do if you are so motivated. If you are in a wheelchair and you want to walk again, you'll walk again. We now have the technology so you can walk again. You can go hike in that field again. If you want to write the great novel, you can write the great novel. If you want to save a life, there are trolls. Yeah, let's take a look at the troll. Maybe the troll needs this reading. Like a straight on full delusion. Oh, a delusion? Oh, you don't. So what we have with this troll is somebody who hates himself and has no faith in his or her own ability to create heaven on earth. And so that would be you've become cynical. The troll is cynical. And that's sad. It's sad to be cynical and to just be an angry person who is living a shitty life. And then they got to go and look for other people to hurt because they're stuck. What is your heaven on earth? What does this troll, and it can't just be about going around hurting people. Come on. When you were a young kid, you had bigger dreams than just being a bully and making other people unhappy, right? But Ace of Wands is what you sit in, and then Ace of Swords stands in your fourth house. So your juxtaposition, these are great cards, by the way. Let me show you. This is what you got. Look at that. Isn't that incredible? You can see The star, and then the crossing is the academia and intellectual, get busy. You've got an ace of wands, which is entrepreneur, moving ahead. And then you've got that beautiful ace of swords. Look at that, double aces. And then your past placement is, I've never done it this way, but I know you guys want to see things. Past placement, Two of Pentacles. So that's kind of interesting because Two of Pentacles would indicate that you're wishy-washy. Well, I don't know what I want to do to be happy. Well, what really do you love? Do you like bowling? What is your bliss? Give yourself you're not helping anybody by being miserable. I don't know, back and forth. What brings you joy? Do you want to play the piano? Do you want to dance with the stars? It's too late for me. That's not true. You'd be shocked at how much you could advance in 6 months. But you must commit your life. I give my life to you, O Lord my God. I give my life to you in loving kindness, right? You have to commit to your mission. Now, in Buddhism, this is called the Bodhisattva of the world. And it's the same concept in Buddhism. Geez, Louise, holy crap. It's the same concept. Look at this, you guys. Triple aces. Ace of Cups moving into sixth position. It's the same concept in Buddhism. It's called a bodhisattva of the earth, and it's this idea that you have incarnated into this world to help end human suffering and animal suffering, to help end the suffering of humanity and the world, and to raise the planet up to heaven on earth, or to be a bodhicitta, to be somebody who is dedicated to making the world a great place to live. So it is the Kabbalistic idea and the Buddhist idea are almost identical. Where you're at right now, a major transformation is over you. A major transformation is over you. Hi, Jean Overton. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining Fairies and Angels. And thank you to everyone who's a member and who has donated to our fundraiser today. Much appreciation. Thank you. Thank you, Jean. Your opposition is that you feel is somewhere else. Maybe you feel like you want to leave. Oh, I'm in a rut. I hate where I live. I hate it. I hate it. Well, maybe you do need to leave, or maybe you're looking somewhere over the rainbow, right? Three of Wands is an idea that you're waiting for your ship to come in. Do not be passive. Do not sit back and wait for something to happen to you. It happens when you get up and you start sweeping the floor. It happens when you enroll in community college or take that course or start doing those belly dancing. I actually took a belly dancing course and I loved it. Yeah, I was out there. I was doing my thing. But don't just sit and wait for don't just wait for bad things to happen. I mean, for things to happen. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, and instead, don't be waiting. You have to do the work. God, the more you take a step towards creating a great life for yourself, the more it will come to you. The hope and the fear at this time, you're afraid of your own power. Well, I don't want to rock the boat. I'm scared people are going to give me too much attention. Queen of Wands is a power queen. I am strong. I am he, she, they. Hear me roar. Queen of Wands is fire. She is passion. It could be somebody that's afraid of their own passion. The final outcome for you, the sun is coming up. This is the best reading I've ever given you guys. This is the most optimistic reading I have ever given you guys. There's your Blitz cards, right? Because a Blitz is the seventh, eighth, ninth, and 10th house. Immediate major transformation, your opposition, waiting for your ship to come in. Don't wait, make it happen. Hopes and fears, your own power, Queen of Wands, and the final outcome, the sun is coming out for you. Be about your business. What is your business? Well, I don't know. Go out and find it. Of course you're going to fail. You'll fail 1,000 times. Don't give up just because you failed 1,000 times. Perfection requires failure. Think about Edison, how many light bulbs he blew up, right? You cannot win unless you have failed. You must fail. You must strike out thousands of times, and you must embrace it, because every time you strike out and fail and then modify, that's how we do an experiment, by the way. We run an experiment, and if the experiment fails, then we modify the experiment. So you keep modifying the experiment. Say you're trying to develop the perfect harpoon, right? Native Americans, that somebody said, well, Native Americans don't do experiments. I said, of course they do. Look at the perfect harpoon that was developed by the Inuit. It took trial and error. They had other harpoons. We've seen archaeological digs that were less effective. So they kept trying and trying and trying until eventually they had the most, the best harpoon. Find partnerships that are going to help you in your transformation. Instead of waiting for things to pursue mastery, hopes and fears, there's this erratic behavior. Avoid anybody who is making you feel guilty because you're taking care of yourself. Anybody who is I have had relatives, how dare that, telling me I'm selfish if you take a shower. Selfishness is necessary if you want to help anybody. You have to have some selfishness. You have to be able to to be selfish to become, say, a physician. It required a tremendous amount of selfishness. I had to ignore other people. I tried to be sympathetic to people when I was in medical school. They'd be calling me every night, like right after class. I can't talk to you right now. I've got 4 hours of homework. I've got a major test tomorrow. I had to be, there's such a thing as compassionate selfishness, where you have to start putting boundaries up so that you can do the work that's necessary. Your biggest obstacle is don't fence yourself in, and stop telling yourself you can't. Stop limiting yourself because of your age, your finances, or any other insecurity. It's an illusion that you've created, and just as it's an illusion you've created, you can choose to let it go. You can heal your life. You can create heaven on earth, and if you don't, you will be reincarnated again, and you will do it all over again until you learn to accept who and what you are and your role in creating heaven on earth. All right. I hope you enjoyed that reading. It's one of the best readings I've seen for the people who are here. Evidently, you guys needed it. So it's a wonderfully optimistic card chart, I must say. All right, so without further ado, we're going to do some blitzes. Like I said, we're staying late today because we had a bunch of stuff we had to get through the first half. So we are going to blitz, blitz, blitz away as soon as I get the order. And let's just see what we find. Got some interesting comments about the trade war with China and the opioid war. Apple and other companies have accelerated their departure from China. Of course, China is angry. Now they're threatening a nuclear war with the United States. They just had a nuke sub that was, sank. So the anger is real. What can we do to take care of ourselves without invoking this kind of anger in other countries? We need TV ads, says ES, explaining that drugs change your brain for 40 years. Yes, and it can also change the way you think and the way you vote. Yeah, I think it's also impacting, you think about all the cocaine addicts of the 1980s that just wanted money and a BMW, remember, and a Rolex watch. It was a very materialistic, and everybody wanted to be on Dynasty, or what was that other show? Um, and they just wanted money. It was like gold and money. And it was a really sick time in American history. Oligarchs haven't paid their taxes since Reagan. Absolutely true. And we're slipping into Victorian poverty because of it. But we're also slipping towards revolution and hopefully reemerging of the unions. Karen W. says, wow, that's a very good analog, the comparison between the China wars with China and the British, and now it's China and America. Absolutely. Only now they're the ones giving us the opium. So, yeah, they didn't forget, did they? Joel Tilson writes, Victorian values destroyed the Russian, Germany, and Austria's royal families. Interesting. Yeah, because people fight back. As Karen W. points out, the robbers and barons and the Upton Sinclair of the 19th century. And this was also what Dickens wrote about. Dickens was not the best husband in the world, but he did do some great stuff like creating homes for former prostitutes, etc. All right, Joel Tilson, check with your local VA and make appointment with DAV, AMVETS, and other vet counselors. Joel is a civil rights advocate for vets, working to make sure that if you are 10 to 40% disabled, you should get full benefits. Absolutely, 100%. Yes, Joel, oligarchs hate socialism, democratic socialism, because they all the money they've stolen from us and put the burden on me and you to pay the taxes, where massive amounts of my money, I have money that's put aside to upkeep my business. I have to buy medicine for my patients. I have to uh, keep the business up and running. And then what's left over goes to taxes. And so, yeah, I make a good living and I get to go on little frugal vacations. We don't do expensive vacations. I usually go with a friend. We split the fee 50-50, and we go out for lunch. We go out one time for lunch, which is cheapest. Well, these are not elaborate vacations, but, and I have a studio. I rent a studio, a doctor renting a studio, because who's got stuck with the burden of paying the taxes? You and me. Joel Tilson writes, public hospitals were created to help the poor get health care by the rich. Yeah, so what went wrong? What went wrong with our hospitals? Oh, Carolyn Proctor, thank you for the compliment. I'm feeling glamorous today. Believes the information and history that you've imparted on us. Well, thank you. The Jungle, yes, very good reading if anybody has read The Jungle. And definitely, if you look at what happened in Smithfield during the COVID crisis, it definitely is a retelling of that. Private prisons are prisons for profit. That's basically what a private prison is it's a plantation. It's a plantation where you get mostly Black people to work for no money as slaves. It's from high school to prison, and it's where the judges were taking a cut from the companies that owned the prisons. And as soon as a Black kid got in trouble for anything like sleeping in and missing class, he was told that he was a bad kid and he was sent to work on the plantation, which was the private prison. So private prisons are, make no mistake about it, they are plantations. Yeah. Judy Jamerson says, it's sad and it's inexcusable. Okay. Musk will be dealt with. Good for you. Cartomancy has a great way to help. She collects and donates clothes and food for local schools. That's a great way to help. Sarah Eschweiler needs our prayers to help her with focus and creativity overwhelming the clutter. Yeah, just one box a day. That's what we tell people, just one box a day. You'll start to get into it. Put on some good groovy music that you can dance to. That's what Princess Diana would do when she would have to clean, wash dishes. She would put on some Elton John, and then she would dance around in a sexy leotard, scrubbing and washing dishes and dancing to Elton John. And I think that's a great idea. Whatever music floats your boat. And I really like Fleetwood Mac music from the 1970s. And I like to dance. Do you believe in miracles? Great advice from Princess Diana, if you don't like cleaning, is to just to wanna try. Put on some great music, and then it doesn't feel like you're working. It feels like you're dancing while you're making your bed. The problem is you probably don't have good dance music on. That tip from Princess Diana. All right, Terry Courts, Canadian here. I don't think we're the only guilty ones. From what I understand, the Americans handed out smallpox-infected blankets. Absolutely, Terry. The only reason I mentioned Canada was because Prince Philip had a hunting party, and evidently he gunned down a couple dozen Native Americans because it was called quelling the herd. And he was wanted, he and Queen Elizabeth, on criminal investigation in Canada for those crimes. Yes, it's spotless. And at the gym listening to you, money makes me nuts. I'm groomed. It's ritual, but no makeup. Good for you. Okay, stay grounded. Oh, my Girl Scouts troop met Temple Beth El. I learned so much about Jewish songs. Yeah, there's some good songs. I love the Torah. I love the Mitzvah too. You guys are singing the songs. Awesome. It's like, zoom-body, doom-body, doom-body, doom-body. I love to learn. I learned to love about the one Hashem and the heavens above. Doom-body, doom-body, da-da-da-da-da-da. We were in the yeshiva late last night. We were learning Torah. We were learning Torah real tight. Learning Torah. We were learning. I love the Torah. I love the Mishnah too. I love Gomorrah. You should love your fellow Jew. Yeah. We have a lot of fun with that kind of music. All right, let's see if we get some questions coming in. I'm just reading people's stuff. I'll get to your guys' questions in just a second. Private prisons abolished. I think we are. Look, we fought a revolution in 1865. So what the hell is with the private prisons? You know, what the hell's that about? Private prisons, a judgment is coming against them. Yeah, Cory Booker is putting an end to it. They were making money. It was a violation of people's rights. Look at that Four of Pentacles. Yeah, they go broke. Cory Booker is putting an end to it with criminal reform. So regarding the tensions with China, I think we'll go ahead and we'll do a blitz on what's going on with China next. If you're just joining us, if you could like this and subscribe to the stream, it would be great. We're raising money for a forever home for senior dogs. If you'd like to participate in our fundraiser, and much appreciation. All right, so China is threatening, has been threatening nuclear war, and Biden has given the U.S. permission to use nukes in the event of an emergency. Let's see how this happens. What happens with this? Yeah, so she is in war mode, King of Swords. So that is military. It's U.S. is under strain. So we're feeling it. We feel that we are under attack because we are under attack. We're under attack through social media. We're under attack through the opioid war with fentanyl. And we're under attack because of the trade wars and, of course, global warming in the middle of that. And the hopes and fears, Four of Cups, not taking an offer. So it's because we broke away from China, and the final outcome is the emperor. I think about the emperor as a strong president. The answer is we need a strong president that's going to explain to people we are at war with China. She is going to be removed. We have a gap stop over the stress of the United States. Look at this, laid low. The United States is laid low. 10 of Swords. We can't go on like this. We feel the war, hopes and fears, the High Priestess. The law, the hidden truths, the final outcome over a great president will come, Ace of Cups, and heal the nation. Look at us, though. Gosh, look at us. We are just laid low. Americans don't know what's happening. They want to blame Joe Biden. It's important for us to explain to people we are in a war. We are in a war. And we also have to talk about the trade routes between Putin, Russia, Iran, and the Ukraine war, because again, it was about this loss of ports, right? He lost his port. He wanted that Odessa port. He claimed they built it. We want it back. We want our nuclear power plant back. We want our port back. Let's take a look. A lot of people are shocked that even his greatest supporters are demanding that he step down. And I've always felt that he would step down and retire to his villa in Siberia, and that he would be given guard protection and basically be under house arrest. They're never going to turn him over to the West because they don't do that. Putin. He thinks he's going to be victorious. He still sees we can still win this thing. We have to hold out until winter. He's up against the King of Wands. I would assume that that's Zelensky. Hopes and fears, King of Pentacles. And then left in complete confusion. So he has fear about his rival. So another man coming in, the King of Pentacles, also problems with Zelensky. And over victory, the Sun card. And then his rival, Zelensky, has a strong judgment. There's infighting happening inside the Kremlin. You can see infighting with this new guy that's coming in. And the final outcome for him, the people feel powerless. They feel like it's business as usual with Putin. The truth of the matter is he has so centralized the power, it's almost impossible for him to be taken out. He's going to be invaded by Ukraine because this is Ukraine's card, the sunflower. I use the Queen of Wands as Ukraine. Ukraine's marching on Moscow. If they have to physically take the reins away from him, they will do it. They're now deep into Russia. Their weapons are going deep into Russia. And so if he does not agree to step down, or if they don't find a way of removing him, they will destroy him. As Rose Blue mentioned, the largest depot was blown up and looked like a mushroom cloud, some of these explosions. There really isn't a lot left of a Russian military. They still have some of their Navy left and some of their Air Force, but not much else. All right, so people wanted to know a little bit about Hezbollah and what is going on in the Middle East. People were concerned. The head of Hezbollah, Nasrallah, has been taken out by Israel. Nasrallah is an absolute monster. He was responsible for the deaths of many Americans. He was arch enemy number one for the Americans. And they are dancing in the streets of Iran, handing out candy. And they're also dancing in the streets of Lebanon. Thank God very few civilians were harmed. I think that they timed it in such a way that they were able to, even though they used bunker busters, is that what they're called? The actual number of civilians was dramatically reduced because I guess they imploded the way that they imploded. But they did, in fact, kill Nasrallah. So we're just going to check and see if Israel is planning a land incursion into Lebanon. Remember, Hezbollah is a foreign Iranian proxy army that's basically holding Lebanon hostage, which was a predominantly Christian country that's being held hostage by the these Iranian forces. They're now encroaching. They've taken southern Lebanon, terrorizing the locals and bombing northern Israel, forcing Israelis to flee. Many of them not even Israeli, many of them Arab, Muslim, and Druze are the main victims in that area. But let's take a look. Israel, Hezbollah, and Hamas forces out. Okay, but let's start with Hezbollah and Israel. Israel will defeat them. Ace of Swords is victory in warfare. And I'm seeing that in a very short amount of time, they will have complete control over their bureaucracy. And this is because factions of the Iranian Guard are part of the revolution. They want to have a soft coup. This is why a liberal was put in as president to replace Raisi, who was a religious extremist, strong supporter of Hezbollah. And it's going to be very hard to keep Hezbollah funded, considering the growing animosity in Iran about the financial cost of maintaining a war that they don't support. So you can see Israel comes in victorious. I think that Hezbollah is going to be no more because they're no longer going to receive the funding they did before. The Middle East doesn't want to fight with Israel. They want to do business and trade with Israel. They have even talked about a peacekeeping troop in Gaza to help with the rebuild, to move away from all of this crazy tension. And I think that's what's going to happen. Living in a delusion, the Queen of Cups. So they rubbed their lamp and dreamed justice is coming to the area. And the final outcome is the King of Swords. So yeah, Israel comes in with help from factions of the Iranian Guard. And it's very likely that Hezbollah will cease to exist because their funding will dry up. Yeah. Also, the same thing with Hamas. Hamas has also gone bankrupt, another proxy Iranian army. A lot of people get confused. They think that Israel was occupying Gaza. Israel was not occupying Gaza. Iran was occupying Gaza and making life really hellish for the people of Gaza. There are reports now coming out that women of Gaza had been kidnapped and drugged into the tunnels and had been forced into marriages with Hamas fighters. Say you're a Hamas fighter and you decide you like some girl from school. You basically get to kidnap her and drag her down into these pits, rape her and force her into marriage to a Hamas fighter. And it's something that's people don't usually talk about in the Middle East for fear of retaliation. They don't like to talk about rape because of retaliation. But in fact, many women in Gaza were in this situation. So what happened to the Israelis, the hostages, was happening to the women of Gaza. Many were taken hostage and forced into these situations, these nightmare situations. Girls would go to school and they would notice that some of their classmates had gone missing. Where is Aisha? and not talk about it because they knew that girl had been taken. And in fact, some of the women coming forward, some of the mothers are saying that 3/4 of their daughters had disappeared, been taken down into these situations. It's sick. It's sick. And they made life hell for the people there. And then they held their children hostage and used them as human shields. So the support, there is not a lot of support for Hamas in Gaza because of what the people were subjected to under Hamas. All right, we'll take a quick look at Hamas, the future of Gaza. I feel very sorry for the women of Gaza because they're being told that they're not being a good Muslim if they scream or try to escape. And then their children are being used as human shields. It's beyond sick. Oh, your child was a martyr. I didn't want my child. I didn't even want to be, I wanted to be in school, getting an education. I was kidnapped at 16. What choice did I have? Right? Yazdi women kidnapped, raped, chained, sold as sex slaves, right? We live in a sick world. All right, the future of Gaza. A celebration of women. The women will rise up. The women will be free in Gaza. Women will be free again in Gaza. They'll be free to get educations. They'll no longer be afraid of sexual abuse, being kidnapped by Hamas fighters. The women of Gaza will be educated and free. They can't talk about it because if you say you're raped, honor killings, they'll be shot in the head by their brother or somebody else. So they can't talk about it. They have to be silenced. A new contract comes to Gaza. The women are rising up in the Middle East. A new partnership emerges with the world. She will rise up and she will be powerful and she will be educated, and a great truth, a great life will come to the people of Gaza. The women will be free. All right. Thank you, everybody, for hanging with me. We had an extra long day today, but gosh, it was a lot of fun. If you're trying to get in for a reading with me, please check the information below. As usual, it was an honor and a privilege to read for you and to spend time with you on this beautiful Sunday. There's still time for you also to make donations to help a senior dog in need. All right, my loves, my beloveds, be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Bye.